What's up, everybody? I just beat The Last of Us Part 2. Took me about 17, 18 hours. So, this is going to be a final review. I'll be discussing if my thoughts have changed on anything. What I thought was good and bad, just like the others, except I actually beat this time. Alright, let's get into it. So, let's start with the gameplay. In the gameplay, I was a little harsh on with my one review where I said it put me to sleep. It's just, I lost my will to play this game completely, pretty much, because I knew where the story was going. So I pretty much just wrote off its gameplay as boring. But the shootouts are spectacular. Gameplay is fun. Yeah, it feels more dynamic than The Last of Us 1. It feels more impactful. You know what I mean. So, now let's talk about the elephant in the room. The story. It's bad. I'm sorry. The story is not good. It's garbage, as a matter of fact. So, I get what they were trying to do. And now, before you think that I'm a homophobe, that I hate women, and you think I'm transphobic, let me just say, I have no problems with Ellie being a lesbian. I have no problem with there being a female lead. And the transgender character, Lev, he was a highlight of the new cast. He was one of the only characters they even tried with. Alright, so let's get into the story. It's a generic revenge plot, and with the narrative revenge bad, you know. They really hammer you with the revenge bad BS, so it's not well executed at all. They try to get you to like Abby after she murders Joel in the first 2 hours of the game, and she doesn't have any remorse for it. They try to get you to like her by having you play as her for 10 hours. And that's stupid, because we're not going to like her after she did that. And also tries to get you to like her friends, Owen, Mel, and everyone else. And Manny, who's Neil Druckmann's self-insert character. Now, I was cheering when Manny died, but they try to get you to kind of feel sad about it because you play with him for a bit. But he spit on Joel's body. We're not going to like these characters. None of these characters even fleshed out correctly. Like, they make some of the stupidest decisions I've ever seen. Like Mel and Dina, they're both pregnant. They decide to fight on the front lines for some reason because they're dumb. Why? I think with Mel, they were just trying to hit us more with that revenge bad stuff because Ellie ends up killing Mel, and they're like, look what revenge made you do! Revenge bad! You killed a lady and her unborn child! Oh my god! Yeah, that's what they were trying to do with her, but it's like, we get it. Revenge is bad. It's like what Red Dead 2 did, except Red Dead 2 didn't hammer you with it as hard as this game does. And in the end, you don't even kill Abby. Like, you don't even get your revenge for what she did to Joel. That's stupid. Like, after all 18 hours, it was all for nothing. Star Wars Fallen Order pulled this same thing as well at the end, but it was forgivable in Star Wars Fallen Order because the journey to get there was really fun, had some great writing and a great story to tell. But this game did not. It did have some good gameplay. The gameplay was fun. But the story is a complete disaster. The story is what I care about. It's just bad. This whole game feels like the Left Behind DLC from The Last of Us 1 if Neil Druckmann wrote it while he was high. Oh, and by the way, I probably shouldn't have called this game fanfiction in one of my reviews, because, I mean, let's be honest, if I ever get famous in like 10 years, some journalist is probably going to find that and they're going to twist my words and try to cancel me because of that. Yeah, I probably shouldn't have called it that, but this game the story is really bad. This game honestly shouldn't have existed. Even though I'm updating its score, giving it a better score than 4, The Last of Us 1 shouldn't have had a sequel. It concluded itself beautifully. Like, those flashbacks could have just been a DLC for The Last of Us 1. That would have been great. Would have been some great DLC. The flashback sequences with Ellie and Joel were a highlight of this game's story, by the way. That's where they had their professional writers doing those scenes. like, if this whole game was just those scenes, it would be a 10 out of 10 for sure. But to the characters again, Joel, this is not the same Joel from The Last of Us 1. He decided to reveal his name to a group of armed strangers, you know, Abby and her friends, the Washington Liberation Fronts. And like Tommy, he says later that he saw who they were on their jackets. So why did they give their names to them? Joel in The Last of Us 1 didn't trust anybody. Like, did he even tell Sam and Henry his name? I can't remember. Even though I played through the entirety of The Last of Us 1 just to get myself hyped for this game, just a month before it was originally supposed to release in May, but then it got delayed. Yeah, I was so excited for this game. I wanted to see where the story was going. I wanted to see how they would improve the gameplay. I'm impressed with the gameplay, but the story is a complete disaster. The Last of Us 1 is one of my favorite games of all time, and then they just do this to the story? Why? What they try to do, they don't do well. It's stupid. They did my man Joel really dirty. They killed him with a golf club. That's just pathetic.
Really? Why?
She-Hulk plays Wii Sports mini golf on my man's head. That's not how you kill a protagonist. Jeez, at least give him more of a noble send-off than that. Yeah, and there's a bunch of plot holes and everything. And then there was that eye-melting sex scene that happened for no reason. And I'm getting back to my point where they try to make you like the characters. Owen's an a-hole. He's supposed to be the father of Mel's kid, but he decides to F Abby anyway. So he's a cheater, he's an a-hole, we don't really like him. And none of the characters are really fleshed out properly. As I said before, like, not all of them are likable. Even, like, the good guys, they're not even that likable. They're pretty much forgotten after they die. The only characters they tried with were Yara and Lev, and they were raised in a cult. But, yeah, the gameplay was spectacular, story was garbage. I'm going to update this game's score to a 5 out of 10 as my final verdict. But there is a flaw with this gameplay. They still have that stupid health bar being light. Alright, that's it. See ya. If you like this video, make sure you like and subscribe.